I would like to give a special shout out to Ali Khan. Thank you for sending me this video, man. I really appreciate it. And we're gonna jump into the video. What's going on to all my Hereafter bros and sis? Alhamdulillah. I'm back with another video, man. You know, we've been listening to a lot of Quran recitations, but I wanted to make sure we get some lectures in, you know, since it's Friday, Juma Mubarak to all my Muslims out there. And we're gonna watch this lecture real quick. It's called 3 Important Things Your Wife Needs to Know From You. Honestly, you know, myself, I'm a married brother, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, it's, you know, the topic about marriage, the topic about halal dating, the topic about haram girlfriends is very prevalent in our community. And, you know, no one's perfect. We all go through our own ups and downs, but I just want to let you know, like, let's watch this video and we can talk a little bit more about it, all right?
What is the primary need that a woman wants from her husband? What's the primary emotion? That is the continual love and the continual enveloping of that attention that the husband always makes his wife his priority. The husband always shows his wife that I'm thinking about you, I'm caring about you, i.e., I will always love you. To feel that love, to feel cherishment, they need to be constantly reassured that their husbands love them, that their husbands always take them as number one, always. If women could get away with it, they want to be put on the pedestal and the husband just looks at them all day and night, and that would be great for them, right? They want to be number one in their husband's life.
Guys, I'm sorry I paused the video at 49 seconds. I'm sorry, but like, what do you guys think about this? Like, attention 24/7, like, I do notice though, once you show your woman attention, or once you show, you know, your significant other attention, they are more likely to be nice to you too. But when you don't show them attention, they can scold at you, you know, they can get mad at you if you don't show attention. So you got to make sure you're showing attention in the proper way. But let's jump back into the video.
So they want constant reassurance that the husband always loves them. Now, brothers, listen to this. Wives, do not take your love for granted. You take your wife's love for granted. You don't need your wife to constantly reassure you that you love me, you love me. No, you take it for granted. The fact that she's still living with you shows you she loves you. Well, it doesn't work the other way around. It does not work the other way around. A woman is always double guessing. Does he still love me? Does he still think about me? Does he still care about me? Does he still put me number one? And therefore, a woman has to have constant reassurance. And not only this, but another issue that men need to be sensitive to and understand. Women are very conscious of their looks, and they're comparing their looks with other women all the time. We guys don't do that. We don't care about other looks of men, and we don't compare ourselves. But women are always thinking, am I still beautiful enough for him? Does he still think me attractive? Maybe I've gained a few pounds, maybe after the third kid, this and that. She's always double guessing her looks, her figure. And so the husband always has to make her feel the most beautiful, the most cherished, the most loved, the most admired. Though she always wants these reassurances. How does he do this? I'll just point out a number of them. Number one, words, words, words. Never underestimate the power of speech. Simply saying, I love you. I know it's awkward for men after the courting phrase. I know it's awkward, right? But believe me, it never goes out of fashion. For women, it never goes out of fashion. They always love to hear this phrase. And in fact, there are da'if hadith of our Prophet. It's a bit da'if hadith, but it's still mentioned in our books that our Prophet and Aisha were joking once. And Aisha said to the Prophet, كَيْفَ حُبُّكَ لِي? How much do you love me? How is your love for me? And our Prophet said, and he gave a beautiful, metaphorical, poetic expression. He said, my love for you is like the tight knot that cannot be unbound. My love for you is like the tight knot that cannot be unbound. So then, in the future, sometimes if they would have a bit of an issue, a bit of an argument, one of the two would remark, how is the knot right now? How is the knot right now? And Aisha would say this when the Prophet sometimes got irritated. How is the knot? So he would smile, he would say, as strong as it ever was. Right? And this hadith is in Daraqutni. Now the point being that the words, I love you, are something very important, but not just I love you, praising her and what she does. Husbands, never take your wife's actions for granted. Suppose she is cooking and cleaning most of the time. Never take it for granted. Always, once in a while, come and compliment her. MashaAllah, that was great. You know, I really appreciate what you're doing for me. Those words, they go a long way. Your wife realizes, you know what, he's not taking me for granted. Very important. Praise her looks when she dresses up, when she does something extra special for you. Never take it for granted. Husbands, you all know the big danger of forgetting anniversaries, right? You all know how dangerous that is. Why do women want you to know their anniversaries? Because it makes them feel you still love them. Makes them feel he still remembers me, he still cherishes me. And celebrating anniversaries, honestly, I believe there are some scholars, they say it's haram bid'ah. Subhanallah, quote me, celebrating anniversaries is mustahab. It is encouraged in our religion. What greater thing to do than for the husband to tell his wife over and over again that I love you, I'll do it all over again. Take them out for a romantic dinner. Be romantic with your wife. What better way of showing that love? There's nothing wrong at all to show that love on your anniversary days. This is something that the Sharia encourages the husband and wife to have that lovely bond together. Another thing that the woman wants is time. And time, this is now a difference in language. For husbands, time means the watch on your hand. So when the wife says, you never spend time with me, immediately he goes into calculation mode. I sleep 8 hours in a day, I have breakfast 1 hour, I come home, that's 10 hours with you. How can you say I never have time for you? Right? Because he's thinking of time in the dictionary definition of time. That's the clock. No, 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 no. Women have a different dictionary. Women have a different vocabulary. For women, time means attention. Undivided quality attention. So, you're working 5 days of the week. You have that Saturday night free, and you want to go and you want to watch a television match. You want to watch a cricket game. You want to go and play some basketball. You want to do this and that. That is quality time. And you have just shown your wife, when you have quality time, you don't want to spend it with her. So what does that mean? You never go out with the guys? No, of course you have to go out with the guys. But understand, when she's asking for time, she wants quality time. And this also when she comes to you to come for advice. She wants some issue to solve. One of the biggest problems that men have is they think as if the woman is coming to him to solve her problem. So immediately he'll say, oh, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you should do this, you should do that. And that is not what the woman wants. What does the woman want? The woman wants a loving ear, a sympathetic ear. She wants somebody to listen to her problem, to be sympathetic to her, not necessarily to solve her problem. This is quality time. To express that whatever she went through was frustrating, was problematic, and inshallah, they will work it out. You have to give what the woman wants, and in return, she will give what you want. When the man gives love, when the man gives that, what we call romance, and romance is nothing. Men think romance is a very dangerous word. They never want to use it, right? All romance means is you show her you're thinking about her. You show her you're caring about her. Husbands, the phrase I love you, giving roses, remembering the anniversaries, taking them out, spending quality time. This is what romance is. When you give the wife the love, you make her feel like she's number one. Guess what? She'll make you feel like you're number one. And so the both of you make each other feel like number one. And that's exactly what marriage is all about.
Wow. The daily reminder. This was a powerful reminder, and they hit a lot of important points. You know, when you have a wife, you gotta make sure you're spending quality time with them. You gotta make sure you're complimenting them. You're showing them that you care. You know, they just want you to spend some time with them sometimes. And like, let me know if you guys want some story times about my little past in high school and things I went through in order to get to where I am today. But it was kind of rough for your boy. But let me know if you want some story times, and I'll let you know. I appreciate you guys for spending some time with me today. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
What would you do if your husband wanted a second wife? Ramadan Mubarak, and I hope everybody is having a beautiful and blessed month. I've been asked some crazy questions on Instagram from my Instagram followers. Risky questions, crazy questions, questions I never thought I would be hit with. So like I basically said, ask me anything and I will answer. Some questions are too personal, so I'm not going to answer them. I just feel like they're just weird and I don't know why anybody would ask those questions. And as we speak, I don't know if you're hearing this, but I'm still getting more questions. So one question that I'm gonna start off with this question. So what would you do if you caught your husband cheating on you with your best friend? Would you consider going to counseling and working on your marriage, or would you just drop the whole situation? And with that being said, like I said, these are questions I've never thought people would ask me, but people ask me. And I would never think about counseling. At that point, my trust has been broken, and there's no way from me coming back to saying, hey, like, let's work on our relationship. Like, you've already broken my trust. And my best friend, like, you're not my best friend. Clearly this is not the first time you guys have been doing this, because there's no way that you would feel comfortable to be doing anything in my home with my husband. Like, it's just so weird to me. I don't know. They're both dropped. They're dead to me. I will forgive, but I will never forget. I will never forget, which means I can never take you back. We can never do counseling. There's nothing that we can, there's no way that we can go further. Like, there's no way. What would you do if your friend kept giving you jokes about how fine and good looking your husband is and how lucky you were consistently? Oh, how lucky you were consistently, like to a point where it makes you feel uncomfortable. Personally, if my friend feels that comfortable, you gotta go. Like, lower your gaze. I'm so sorry. Lower your gaze. This is my husband. We married. We are bonded. You know what I mean? And that's it. Personally, like, I can't mess with people like that. I can't mess with humans who are like, I understand one time you guys are a good looking couple, or you know what I mean, he's cute, but if it's to a point where you're saying he's cute, he's sexy, he's hot, every time you see him I can see the way you're, no honey, no. Like, you can say people are good looking, that's fine, you can say people are good looking, but when it gets to a point where it makes me feel uncomfortable, you gotta go. You gotta go. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I don't want to feel awkward when my husband comes to pick me up from your house and you want to go downstairs and see him. Like, that's weird to me. I'm so sorry, you're not my friend. You are not my friend. You plotting, honey, you plotting. That's weird. Okay, here's another question. What would you do if your mother-in-law didn't like you and constantly told her son he could do better, but her son is great to you and loves you? Personally, this is a conversation that you would have to have with your husband. Like, me personally, I would sit my husband down and say, listen, I'm your wife and I do not want to drive a wedge between you and your mom, but there's certain things that you do that, like, there's certain things that you do say, and there's certain things that you just don't say to your daughter-in-law or say about your daughter-in-law, because at the end of the day, like, I'm in the family now. You know what I mean? No matter, like, I wouldn't go to her because I feel like that would just start more drama. I would personally tell him, like, this is how I feel. I really don't like the way your mom says this and that. Please talk to her. And, like, that's your mother. I would never want you to disrespect your mother, and I would never want to come in between that relationship, but there has to be a point where you have to put your foot down and say, Hoya or mom, like, this is who I want, this is who I married, and I would really appreciate if you wouldn't make comments like that, period. And if a man can't do that, he ain't a man. A man has to be able to put his foot down and say, listen, Hoya, or listen, mom, like, this is what I want, and this is where I'm going, and that's it. So that's my answer. What would you do if your best friend was sneak snapping you without your hijab sometimes? Like, quick snippets of your body shape and sending it out to her Snap followers. That's a no-no. Like, I wear hijab to cover myself. I wear hijab to be modest. There's no way I'm going to allow anybody to send snaps of me and, like, show off my body and my body shape, because, like, it's just weird. I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, you know I wear hijab, you know I cover up. Why would you send your Snap followers pictures of me? or videos of me. I just find that weird. Like, you're not a friend, you're just a weirdo. I'm so sorry. I personally, like, if it was like a 1-2 time, I would like check you. But if it's more than 1, 2, 3, 4 times, then it's like, you're not my friend. Because if you're my friend, you would respect my Islam. You would respect the reason why I cover myself. These are some, I'm telling you, these are some good questions. These are some good questions. What would you do if your husband wanted a second wife? When I can tell you, I can count on my fingers how many times people ask me this question and I've just never answered it. But let's just make things clear. I feel like with me and my husband, we are on the same page. We have had this conversation before marriage, and this is the thing. You need to have this conversation with your future spouse before it gets any deeper, because now it's like, if you're open for him to have a second wife, then okay, I completely understand. The Deen allows it. You know what I mean? But you guys need to have this conversation like prior to tying the knot, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be blindsided later. You want to make sure that you and your spouse are on the same page. Me personally, I would not want my husband to have a second wife, and it's because I'm a whole lot of woman, and you can, like, there's a lot to handle. You know what I mean? Islamically, I wouldn't want to put him in a position where he would have to treat 2 people equally. And if you don't, it's a sin. It's a huge sin if you do not treat both wives equally. So with that being said, I wouldn't want him having a second wife. And I also want to let you girls know, prior to marriage, you can also put it in your marriage contract if you don't want your husband to marry a second wife. And if it doesn't make you feel comfortable, you can do that. There's a lot of other things you can put in your marriage contract. Let's just say if your husband down the line says you don't want to work, you can put in your marriage contract like, hey, I want to work, so I don't want him later to start conversations about not wanting me to work. I want my husband to be on the same page as me. Also, with that being said, yes, we listen to our husbands, you know what I mean, and that's Islam. But at the same time, you need to remember the ones that came before us. Khadija radiallahu anha, she was a businesswoman. She worked. She made more money than the Prophet. So for anybody to tell you you can't work is crazy to me. It's just, there's things that you can put in your marriage contract, so put those stuff in your marriage contract if you feel like this is something that you want to cover you later. But regardless of the matter, the whole second wife conversation, I could never see myself ever allowing this. Personally, I just feel like I'm a lot to handle, and it's a lot to handle. It's gonna be a lot on your plate, and like, it's gonna be an even bigger sin for you if you do not treat both 1, 2, 3, 4 wives equally. So why even put yourself in a situation where you have to give this one attention, and then you have to give this one the exact same amount of attention you gave that one, and then, you know what I mean? It's just too much on a man's plate, and it's really, really hard to attain. So yeah, that's my whole intake on the whole second wife conversation. But I'm saving the best story that I got here for last, because this one is controversial. There's a lot of people, I already mentioned it on my live, and I just seen people pouring in, like, the views just kept going up because of what I was saying in this story. So here it goes, right? So your sister moves in with you because there's a school she wants to go to that's nearby. She moves in with you, you have 2 kids, you're like, hey, why not? That's my sister, same mother, same father, blood sisters, okay? She's staying with you, and she's basically just enjoying her time with you. You're saying, yo, she's such a good help with the kids. You know what I mean? When I'm not there, she cooks for my husband. Like, she's just like everything that I could ask for. She's such a big help. And this is crazy. I'm not gonna mention names or anything. A couple months down the line, she's pregnant. Now, nobody's judging, but she's pregnant. You end up finding out that she's pregnant by your husband. Now, the story also mentions that apparently the husband and the sister got married in secret. I personally don't know the ruling on marriage when it comes to marrying a sibling. I personally don't think it's right. But now you've been married you've been married to this guy for almost 5 years. You have 2 beautiful kids together, and he gets your sister pregnant. Also in Islam, I want to let you guys know, like, breaking kinship, like breaking relationship with your siblings is very much frowned upon, because that's your sibling. So what do you do in this situation? Now, I saved this one for last because this is a very complicated situation. I personally would cut them both off. This is just my input. Would cut them both off. I will forgive you maybe later down the line, but I could never forget what you did to me. I decided to now come into my home, and I invited you in graciously, and you never had to pay for anything. Everything was handled. Groceries were handled. You really just had to pay for the things that you needed. And then you decided to come and commit a major situation with my husband. I mean, I can't forget that kind of situation, because now you have broken my trust. You've broken me, especially because I've been married to this guy for 5 years, 2 kids. You know what I mean? This situation, like when I tell you, when I was on live and people were replying, there was like back and forth conversation. I personally could never condone this kind of relationship. I would leave. It's not healthy for me. It is not healthy for my kids. Especially as a Somali woman, we were built to be strong, independent women, and we don't have to depend on no man whatsoever. So with that being said, no, he can go. If he wants to see his kids on the weekends, why not? It's just a hard situation. Like, I don't even know how it would, like, how would you be able, like, how could you tell your kids the situation? Like, you can never tell your kids what happened, because now they'll never look at their father the same again. Yeah, that whole situation, like when I got that message on Instagram and I read it and I said, oh my God. I don't know, but what would you guys do? Comment down below and let me know, what would you do in that kind of situation? Me personally, like maybe years down, like it has to take, like I'm gonna need a break from my sister for a long time for me to forgive her. Personally, this is just like, I know it's frowned upon in Islam, and I know like Allah forgives, so why don't us humans forgive? But something of that magnitude, I don't know. I feel like if that was ever to happen to me, I don't know how I would react to the situation. It is a very, very complicated and complex situation to deal with. But that's basically the last question I had. Comment down below, let me know how you guys would feel about that whole situation. And if you like what you saw, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You already know what it is. Your girl is here. We being consistent. We've been flourishing. Our skin, flawless, honey, flawless. And stay tuned. Hope to see you guys there. Mwah.